If you're a normal human being, you know that you need to sometimes get off your chair and walk to certain places. Unless you're like me, then you don't. And in Minecraft, it's a similar thing. Sometimes things are very far apart from each other, and in order to get there, you have to go through the really hard work of pressing W on your key just so you can get there. But obviously this isn't the only way of traveling in Minecraft. In fact, there are 5 other ways of transportation in Minecraft. But let me tell you one thing, all of these suck. Or at least, transportation in Minecraft is flawed. But why is that? Why is it not perfect? How come it's not been fixed? What is the problem with this? Why am I even talking about this? What am I doing on Earth? Why do I even exist? What is my significance compared to the events of the rest of the universe? And so, without further ado, let me introduce you to the problem of transportation in Minecraft. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what are the ways of transportation in Minecraft? Outside of walking, obviously. Well, there's boating. This is the quickest and one of the most important ways that people travel in Minecraft. All you really need for this is 5 blocks of wood, of any choice. Unless you're in a nether, then you can't make it for some reason. Once you do, however, make these boats, well, you can do a lot with it. You can trap stuff inside it and torture them to death. Or you could just be a weird person and use them to travel across oceans. I don't know why anybody would do that when obviously, torturing a villager for life is just a lot more fun. But oh well. The main point of boats is to travel across long distances across water. Yes, I know there are other ways, but we'll get to them later. Next, it's the horse. These things are a fairly common mob in Minecraft. However, in order to get them, you need to get a slightly uncommon thing called the saddle. Now, these things can be found in pretty much any structure in the game, so no need to worry. It can be really fast or really slow. You can also use saddles on other rideable mobs like donkeys and pigs. For the sake of this video, these two are irrelevant. The main intention of the horse is to, well, travel across long distances on land in a quick and efficient way. Next, we got the minecart. This one is ever so slightly more expensive than the rest of these on this list. Okay, well that's just putting it politely. In reality, this thing costs a fortune. The main goal of these things is to, instead of exploring like the boat or the horse, you use them to get across places that you've already been to. I.e., say you've got a base here, but you've got a storage system here. Well, the whole point of the minecart is so that you build like a little railway and you can just sit there and go in there. Next, we got the nether. The nether has the unique property of 1 block in its dimension being 8 overworld blocks, which can be extremely beneficial as going 800 blocks in the overworld is only 100 blocks in the nether. And since there's stuff like the nether roof and you can just tunnel, well, this is a fairly easy task. And lastly, we got the elytra. This thing goes between existing places but can also travel. It's really fast and it basically doesn't break, which some see as a problem and some see as a blessing. Again, I'll go over it later. Now, from what I've just said, well, you can already spot some patterns here. You see, whenever you're transporting something or traveling, you're usually doing it for either A, exploration, or B, getting from point A to point B. But, as you can see quite clearly, there are several ways to do that. Take for example, traveling from point A to point B. The intentional way of doing this is usually by the minecart. I mean, you build a railway and you sit in it, which can be quite cool. However, the unofficial and probably a lot better and easier way is the nether. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, going across 1 block in the nether is 8 blocks in the overworld. So why would you make a 96 block railway when you can just travel 12 blocks in the nether to achieve the same thing? And plus, minecarts are a lot more expensive. And not to mention that the nether is, an entire dimension. And when it comes to exploration, well, it's a similar problem. You see, horses are meant to, be the better option, except boats on water go a lot faster, and when you're not on water, well, sprint jumping can do the job just as well, if not better than a horse. And then there's this thing. See, the elytra, although it's meant to be hard to get, is pretty easy if you're experienced at the game. And once you get an elytra and some fireworks and a mending book, you can just fly wherever you want, whenever you want. All you gotta do is have a good supply of fireworks and boom, you're off. In other words, transportation in Minecraft has become virtually cooked. The several methods of transportation are usually outshone by the elytra, and if you're not using the elytra, well, there's clearly one winner that is better than the other. I believe that if you mention a problem, well, it wouldn't be productive unless you had a solution. So what is my big brain solution to, solve this problem? I don't have one. But thankfully, believe it or not, I have some friends. So I asked them, and here's what they said. There are several ways you could solve this problem. For minecarts, you could use them in mines from getting from a higher place to a lower place. After all, flying straight down with an elytra would be a lot more dangerous, and using the nether will just give you a headache. So why not you use minecarts for vertical transport? And in terms of horses, well, kill the horses! Okay, so quite clearly, well, despite his nonsensical hatred of the word horse, well, he's actually spitting some facts. I mean, using minecarts for vertical transport is kind of what they're used for. I mean, after all, they're used in the mines, and mines are meant to go down. And his point about horses, well, I mean, I suppose we could fix that. Because with horses, you can do, racing, but that is better done by the pigs. Horses, if you're on like flat land, well, these are a very good way to get across. These are actually faster than sprint jumping, and they don't take away any hunger. So having a horse for, short to mid-distance traveling isn't all that bad. But with that comes the end of the video. If you think that travel is a problem and you've got your own solutions to it, well, comment them down below. Don't just be a useless bum and sit there. Make sure to like and subscribe, it will really help out a ton. And yeah, what else do I need to say? Oh yeah, I forgot. No poop stains.